There are 4,218 PS2 games, and I've got to beat every one of them. I've got to own the game because I'm playing on the original hardware, but I've beefed it up using a RetroTink 5X, some component cables, and more to come soon. Can I do this before I die of old age? I hope so. Celebrity Deathmatch was released October 15th, 21st, and the 31st for PlayStation, PS2, PC, and Xbox. Based off of the MTV segment of the same name, the game received embarrassingly poor scores across the board. A GameCube version was quietly canceled due to programming issues. Can I survive this horror show of a game? Celebrity Deathmatch is supposed to be a fighting game, but I consider it a shit simulator. This game is fucking horrible, and I think you should definitely avoid it. I'm not so lucky though. I've got to play all these shitty games. And this game took about 54 minutes to beat, and that's because there's very little to do. On the main menu, you select episode to play through 6 different TV episodes, each with 3 different fights, and 6 total celebrities. All you need to do is win each one. That's it. When you win one, it's over. You go to the next one and you win that one, and you do all 6 different TV episodes, which is a total of 18 fights. Okay, so the celebrities must be interesting, right? Well, these are early 2000s celebrities in their 2000s prime. Celebrities like Busta Rhymes, Carmen Electra, Carrot Top, Dennis Rodman, the entire cast of NSYNC, Miss Cleo, Mr. T, and of course they are all voiced by sound-alikes, or what you would consider to be a sound-alike. None of them really sound like the celebrities, and they all sound extremely low effort, low quality, and it's really sad. The fighting itself is absolutely horrible. I am very confused about what you're supposed to do for each individual move. So when you're playing the game, generally I found just spamming the same move over and over, the computer player cannot handle it. They just get hit over and over, and you can finish the match very quickly. The idea is to get their health all the way down, and just like in Mortal Kombat, it says kill. Then you go up to them and press circle. Of course, that's only when you have the MTV bar up high enough so that you can perform your fatality. Each character has their own set of moves and fatalities that tie directly into their character in real life. You know, what they did, the things they performed on, whatever. Although it's not really that interesting because you see the TV show was very crafted specifically for the 2 celebrities to fight. They had very specific things happen in each episode. Not to say that I liked Celebrity Deathmatch on TV, on MTV, but it's much more thought out. This feels like they just gave everyone a few moves in hopes that you would find it funny and interesting, but it's not. At least the TV show, they took time to think about all the things the celebrity did and then had them do those things to another celebrity, especially if they ever crossed paths. Then they would have that same interaction in the Celebrity Deathmatch fight. But here it is all very generic, very boring, and just barely passable. I mean, pressing X over and over is really not that fun, especially when you're just gonna win. I mean, there's almost no way to lose. The only reason I lost one time was because I didn't know exactly how to initiate the fatality. I didn't realize you just walk up to them and press circle. I thought you beat the shit out of them until the game was over. But apparently no, you've got to walk up and press circle. Regardless of this, while I was playing, I found that there are many different moves each character has. However, I don't know how to perform them. Let's say I'm sitting there spamming an ability from a character. I hit X and hold forward over and over and over. X forward, just so that I can spam. Sometimes a different move would come out. I don't know why. I don't know what the requirements for that move to come out were, but it would always happen. I would get this random move to come out even though I pressed nothing different than the last 50 spam presses I did. You'll find this too. Apparently there are other buttons to press, but I don't give a fuck. I mean, X is the fastest and easiest way to do this, and I barely want to play this game anyway, you know what I mean? Like, it's terrible. There is apparently a way to like rip off the other player's legs and perform a different kind of fatality. I was able to rip off someone else's legs one time, but that was also the time I didn't know you had to press circle to initiate the fatality, so I never got to see it. I just don't understand the pacing of the fight. Like, what do you do in what order and why? I just don't know what they were thinking when they made the game. Outside of the combat, like I said, the voices are terrible. The humor is terrible as well, man. It just wasn't funny. The only times it was funny was when they said something out of pocket that you didn't expect that makes no sense, and you're like, what? Why would they say this? The announcers are the worst because they're supposed to have funny things to say about the fight and just in general, but they are absolutely absolutely the most unfunny people ever, and they constantly fucking talk. They just keep running their mouths. And don't expect the celebrities to actually have something interesting to say. Even though their voicing is terrible, they don't have anything interesting to say. Sometimes the fight's over and Mr. T will be like, "That's right," and that's it. Like, what? You didn't say, "I pity the fool"? Nothing like that? I mean, that's his whole thing, and you didn't add that into the game? What are you guys doing? As I continued through the episodes, I also found myself fighting random monsters like Frankenstein and like a werewolf and maybe even an alien, and I don't understand. I don't understand. Why are they in here? Is it because it's kind of funny to have just random monster type enemies? I guess they needed more characters? I don't know. There's so many more celebrities. You guys could have just added more. I mean, who cares about the ones that you normally see on the actual show? Add more into the game. You already have very few things. You're gonna add an alien over the top of any other celebrity out there during the time. Really? Something else that's a little frustrating is when you play the episodes, one in a row, you don't get to choose what celebrity you are. There is literally no motivation. You don't pick someone and then go through a bunch of celebrities. It's not like Mortal Kombat, even though the game supposedly mimics it a bit. I mean, obviously you have a fatality section, but why don't they do it where you pick one celebrity and stick with them for all these fights and then win and get like this cute little cutscene or something? No. You just pick an episode, you get one of the random celebrities, and you must win. That is it. You don't get to pick shit. Instead of something like this, they decided to add a create a character, the most bare bones created character I've ever seen, and you get barely any moves to pick from. I think you get like 4 or 5 selections for types of moves to use, and most of them are just carbon copies of other characters in the game. I mean, some of the characters are carbon copies of each other with it's pretty similar movesets, but this created character is so boring. I go in and play for like 10 seconds, and we're all like, yeah, I got to see my character. All right, let's turn this game off, break it in half, and never talk about it again. The PS2 was the wild, wild west of gaming, with how often people made games for it, with no knowledge of game making necessary. Apparently, everyone can make a game. So many people made games, and this one is just a pile of shite. I did not want to have to play it, but of course, it's the game I have to play. It's one of the 4,218 games. So, Celebrity Deathmatch is done. Game 63, begrudgingly, was finished, and we got to have a great time making fun of how terrible it was, the presentation of the game, the graphics, even though it was supposed to be some claymation, it looked just shite, man. Thank you so much to everyone who stopped in to watch this video. Thank you to all the people in the stream who bared through this game with me and watched the absolute dumpster fire of a game get beaten. Thank you to all the YouTube and Patreon supporters. Thank you guys so much. And thank you, Crystal Onyx, one more time. He sent me a huge box of games I don't own. Tons of them. If you want to look at the community post, you can see what games are there. Thank you so much, man. It's going to be great. I have so many games to play. There's almost no reason to buy any, except I'm going to. Eventually here, I'm going to get a little bit of extra money, and I'm going to buy all of the FromSoft games on the PS2, and we're going to play all of them. Eternal Ring, King's Field, Tower of the Abyss, all those games. So stay tuned for those. I also have a list on that community post of the next games coming out that I'm playing. I'm currently playing Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne, then I'll be playing Mega Man Anniversary Collection, I'll play Dark Watch, I'm going to play The Warriors, Little Britain, Shadow Hearts, and then Ratchet and Clank, the first one. So thank you all for being here. I will see you for the next video, which will hopefully be Final Fantasy X. Later.